Tim Winters, Executive Pastor of Shepherd here. Quick question, Tim. This past sports season in basketball, baseball, or anything else, so what's the most exciting thing that you've seen?
Boy, I'm not a huge Lakers fan. I like the Lakers, but I'm just not a fanatic Lakers fan. But Kobe, at the end of these games, some of the shots he's making, I mean, you just can't help but go, wow, that's just amazing. It's amazing he can make those shots. Just amazing. But don't make me a Lakers fan. I don't mind them. I'm just not a huge Lakers fan.
Okay, so who do you have in the finals right now?
Lakers and the Celtics. It'll be good for the series. I enjoyed it a few years ago when they were playing together. I don't know who'll win, but it'll be a good series.
Okay. So what's the most unusual or the funniest thing that you've seen so far as a sports fan this year?
I think the most unusual thing right now I'm seeing is the controversy with the umpires and the refs. I mean, they're almost becoming bigger than the sport. You've got the cowboy, the guy, the umpire in baseball, him going out with the Chicago White Sox coach, which he's humorous, himself, watching some of his clips. But, these umpires seem to be making it about themselves. Same way with the refs in some of these games. I kind of want them to disappear. They need to call the game, but they definitely should not be deciding the outcome of the game. Granted, the players out there, one shooting the balls and hitting the balls, but or shooting baskets, hitting balls. But they still have an impact on that game, whether they think they do or not. And there's a way to call the game without, and they, 90% of the time they do it right. But then there's, 10% they might mess up, but there's beginning to be this percentage that they're just making a fool and a mockery of the game and of themselves. They're just, I kind of always respected refs. I didn't necessarily agree with their calls, but they were the authorities on the floor. But watching some of these sports, usually I'm starting to lose some of my respect for some of the refs and the umpires. It's just sad. Sad testimony to sports these days.
Okay. The World Cup is coming up in about 7 days or like a week now.
Right.
What are your expectations with the upcoming World Cup? And with every game being on ESPN, what team are you going to be following, and what team are you pulling for to win the whole thing?
Man, here again, I'm not a big soccer fan, but I love the World Cup. It's just the excitement of the fans and how much they get into the sport. And this year, the whole 3D thing, I'm just trying to find somebody with a 3D TV. If you've got a 3D TV and glasses, call me. I just want to watch some of those games on 3D. I'm really looking forward to just, soccer is one of those games that growing up, they didn't have soccer in my high school. I mean, I didn't know nobody played soccer. I thought sissies played soccer. But when I went to my first soccer game and saw it in person and realized how big that field is and how much those guys run, I fell in love with the sport. I just really love to watch soccer, especially in person. Just those guys are great athletes, and I enjoy the sport. I love what they put into it. Don't get a lot of recognition as much here in the United States. Maybe they are now. It's starting to pick up a little bit. But I'm really looking forward to the World Cup, just to especially the fans. They just get into it so much. It's such a national, international deal. Hopefully there's not a lot of problems with the fans. They get a little out of hand sometimes. But I'm really looking forward to, obviously I'm an America's fan. I love Donovan and all those guys. And just looking forward to a great World Cup this year.
The 2014 Super Bowl, it was just announced it's going to be in New York City. The Jets and Giants are opening up a brand new stadium.
Right.
But this is going to be the first time, Tim, in a long time where the Super Bowl is going to be played in a cold weather city. And now a lot of players are complaining and are saying that it's not fair because it's going to be snowing. And one of the major advantages or rewards that players had playing in the cold weather cities to get to the Super Bowl was playing in a warm weather city. As a football fan, what's your take on playing the Super Bowl in snow?
As far as the players complain about it, how much they get paid?
Millions of dollars. Millions of dollars.
I don't really care how much they complain. The last couple, 2 years ago, was it Florida they played where it just rained? I mean, you have bad conditions sometimes. You're just going to. And, you can say the guys who play in domes all the time and then have a Super Bowl in a dome, they have an advantage. I love cold weather football. I think that's the way football is meant to play. Again, I grew up in the Midwest. I grew up, I noticed on the video, I grew up wearing pantyhose under our football uniforms to keep warm. But I love cold weather football. I think it now it's another dimension of sport. And again, to these guys that are making these millions of dollars, toughen up and play some football. They probably got gloves that keep them warm. They sit on heated benches with their helmets are heated. I just have no sympathy for that. And I'm looking forward to it being in New York. I think that's exciting. And I look forward to it being outside. I don't care if there's snow on the field. It'd be all the more exciting for me.
Are you an Oklahoma fan?
My
Yeah.
coworker Sean Walls is an Oklahoma fan,
Okay.
and Dudley's an Oklahoma fan, so
Uh-huh.
I'm by default an
Okay.
Oklahoma fan.
What are your expectations for them this season with Bradford gone and
They got a good. I think the quarterback that came in last year played well. I mean, who knows what they would have done if he would have played the whole year and not had to come in at the last minute there. I'll tell you when I became an OU fan. Even though Dudley and Sean are both OU fans, I went to the Texas OU game 2 years ago. I sat right on the 50-yard line. Everybody to my left was a Texas fan. Everybody to my right was an Oklahoma fan, and it was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And from that point on, I became an Oklahoma fan and really loved that rivalry between
Okay.
Texas and Oklahoma. I don't think there's anything like it.
Okay. As a Cardinals fan, Tony La Russa and Albert Pujols are going through a little bit of a, how can you put, a feeling out period right now, they've actually been documented getting into arguments and things like that. And Albert's been struggling for the past couple of weeks before, past couple of games where he's actually hit pretty well. Do you have a take on that?
I think it probably gets overblown a little bit. I mean, they've both been around each other for a long time. They both know each other very well. They both know how important the other one is to each other. I think Albert's a professional. I think he's a good man. I think Tony's a great coach. Been around baseball for a long time. I have a lot of respect for him as well. And I think, by the time they win the World Series this year, nobody will say anything about this. It'll be a blip on the radar screen when they win the World Series this year.
Okay. Baseball recently, Angels. I don't know if it's outfielder or infielder. I'll find out. But Kenji Morales, he went and he had a walk-off grand slam, went over, jumped on the base, and broke his leg. And then after that, the next day they had a walk-off, and the guy just ran past the plate, and they went ahead and celebrated. What's your opinion on baseball celebrations and sports celebrations and people getting hurt?
I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often. I mean, I really am. I mean, crossing the home plate, or making the winning basket, scoring the winning touchdown. I mean, you got these in football. You got these 300-pound men jumping on your back. I mean, it's one thing, one guy trying to attack you. It's another 3 or 4 guys jumping on your back.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys are commodities to some degree. I mean, they're worth a lot of money. If I was a coach, I'd say, you know what, we'll celebrate another way. Do not jump on each other
Mm-hmm.
and risk injury. I surprised in that more in basketball. I saw when they, kind of swarmed Artest the other night, even though he took a stupid shot. And still, that's a whole other story. But they jumped on him after the game, and he looked like he was struggling a little bit to keep his balance. And again, you get all that weight on you. I mean, you take Bynum, he gets hurt just walking. I mean, don't jump on him. Both knees will probably go out. But I think they got to be careful. I mean, I love celebrations. I love celebrations in all sports, but love celebration in church more. But they got to be careful.
Okay. Last question. Do you have any idea where LeBron's going to go next season, or is there anywhere you want him to go?
Where do I want LeBron to go?
As a basketball
fan.
fan.
Church.
Okay.
It'd be cool if LeBron came to Shepherd Hills Church. We've got a place for you, LeBron. You can play on my team in the church league too. No, I don't have any idea where he go. I think he could go in. Well, obviously he can go anywhere. He's going to help any team. Hopefully he goes to a big marketplace where you get to see him more often. But I hope he doesn't go to Celtics or Magic or some of the other teams the Lakers have to contend with. But I don't know if he'd fit that well with the Lakers either.
Okay.
It's a unique deal. I mean, to figure out where he'd fit best at, because he's going to change the dynamic of any team he goes to. If the team has some chemistry and some dynamic, but how do you pass on a guy like LeBron James?
There's actually rumors right now. This is the final question now, but there's rumors right now where LeBron, they're actually talking about on ESPN where he would do a sign-and trade and come to LA for an Andrew Bynum, Lamar Odom, and a Ron Artest or a Jordan Farmar package. If you're Jerry Buss or Mitch Kupchak or even Phil Jackson and you re-sign, is that an option for you, or are you happy with the team you have now?
I'd be pretty happy with the team I have now. They're in the playoffs and probably going to the finals. And they got a lot of chemistry, and he's going to change that chemistry. Now, can Kobe and LeBron play together? I don't know. Kobe and Shaq didn't play together too well, so that worries me a little bit. You asked me where I'd like to go to the Clippers. That'd be fun. Have them go to the Clippers, because nobody's been able to turn that thing around. And if anybody could, maybe LeBron could.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Tim. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks, Sam.